add on to the system.
Right.
Because, as I said, a security installation is not very, very cheap. Right. And these are very good. These are expensive cameras. It costs actually a lot to install these cameras.
Right.
You know, so eventually the client will add on, call the installer and say, well, okay, I'd like to put the next camera here.
Yeah.
But you can always start with one, start with two, right? Make sure that you have very good cameras.
Good.
Doesn't make sense you install cameras that are not very good, and then you cannot pick up the image of someone when they try to break into your premises.
Good. Good.
It might cost a lot, but bear that cost and install good quality cameras.
Okay, and you're saying you should consider around your property at least 100 meters in range?
In range.
That you can get good vision for.
Get
And
good
these
vision.
cameras do that?
Yeah, these cameras good. These are they are called very focal cameras, where you can zoom in manually and set it to a specific point.
Right.
Right. So if you're not seeing anything, the installer could always go and zoom in the camera and set it to a point where you are. So these are some of the things that you need to ask your installer. What kind of cameras, how far you can see, what is the range, does it move by itself, which Terry told you, the pt2,
yes,
basically it spins around.
Spins,
right? But these cameras are fixed cameras. It's called very focal because it have a lens that you can zoom in and zoom out manually. The installer would have to go do that. Right. So you need to ask your installer what type of cameras are he providing, or are they providing? Are they very focal? What's the range? How it is going to look in the night? And these things. A very good thing you can do for you can tell an installer, well, here, can you bring a sample for me?
Okay.
Right? And they will come with their meter and they'll hold it up and say, well, okay, this is what it's going to look like.
Right.
Photo surveillance, at our company, that's what we always do.
And so you can have it preset, and so once it's set and in position, there's nothing you virtually have to do after
Nothing
that.
you have to do. Okay. So we would come with the camera, set it to the location, and show the client, well, this is what it's going to look like. Right. So at least you have an idea in your head what your camera is going to look like. Not when the installer already install it, then you say, no, I want you to see this.
Okay.
You know?
So make sure and get your preview.
Get your preview.
Get your preview.
Right?
Okay.
Always ask your installer, where are the cables going to run? How are they going to run? What are they going to look like?
Right. Yeah.
You know, so at least you have an idea. Not when you're finished, because it's very tedious to bore the holes and then you have to go move the cameras.
Right.
Right? Always check with them to find where the cables are going to run, how are they going to run, what are they going to go into, what type of cables you're using.
Okay.
Right? The basic system that it sells in the store comes with a very, what should I say, flimsy cable. And when you install a system, you want your camera system to last years.
Okay, so it's not just the camera, it's the cabling.
It's the type of the cabling and the type of wiring you use. Siamese wire is a very, very good wire to use. The Siamese is very thick, it has its own port and everything.
Right.
Right? You can always use the computer cables, the internet cables, as they say.
And are there considerations you have to make for your getting at your meter box or anything like that? Are there adjustments that have to be done to cater for your cameras that people should consider?
There's no, it doesn't cost much on your electricity bill. It doesn't. Basically, it's just like 12 volts per camera, so it doesn't take your bill any higher. Okay. You know, so it's something to consider. Also, if you're going to do your installation for security cameras, make sure you have internet. At least try to get a LAN wire internet. I know I have some clients are trying it, they can't. Make sure, see if you can get a internet for LAN wire so you can see your cameras on your mobile device.
Right.
Know where you can play back. Also, there's another thing I should say. Always check with your install to find out if it's mobile viewable.
Okay.
Right? A very good DVR to buy is the ones where you can play back on your phone.
Right.
It's going to cost a lot, I must say. But where you can click it, the ones just basically like you have at your premises. I saw them.
Yes.
Right. I think I did the installation.
Yes.
Right. You can play back that on your phone.
Good.
Those are some of the tips and the bits that you need to know when installing security cameras.
So you have visibility wherever you go.
Wherever you go, you can
like
play back.
24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours.
You.
You know, 24 hours. So
good.
That's some of the basic things you need to find out from your installer before you go ahead and install it, and then you're unsatisfied with what they do.
Right. So basically, look for your blind spot. We're seeing a blind spot here.
Yeah, we're seeing here, and this time is supposed to fall photo surveillance.
Yes, we're seeing a definite blind spot, you know.
But basically, this camera here, the width is very wide, so it's actually picking up everything here.
Everything here.
Yes.
Right.
And it's just the tank at the back there It's a kind of, but this works pretty okay. I've saw it. The guys did a very good job on this here. Yeah. And it could do some put in another camera or so, but basically this is a very good installation, I must say.
You know, for some people they're saying that, listen me, Tobago ain't all that bad, you know? Why do we need to expend all of this money and that kind of thing in putting up these security systems and these surveillance systems?
Well, I must say, your family is very important to you. They're very, very important to you. There's no amount of money you can spend to protect them. Yeah. And things do happen. Things do happen. It might not happen at your premises, but it might happen by a neighbor or so. Right. And they would, you know, they would like to see what happened, or at least the law enforcement agency would like to see what happened. So it's very good at least to have it up. Right. You know, and cameras are a very good deterrent for bandits. Okay, good. They think twice before they go into the premises. Then they would think, well, look, I have to go look for DVR, they might see me or something like this. So it's a very good deterrent. Himself, it's mock ones you put up, it's not a real one. It's a very good deterrent.
Okay, so you're saying the benefits far outweigh the cost?
Yes.
In terms of providing peace and safety?
It's very, very far outweigh the cost. I mean, it's very good. It saves you a lot. Having to, the police find someone, you have to go to court, all that things, you know. You have the cameras, is already a deterrent.
Okay, good.
So it's always good to choose the right equipment. More importantly, contact an installer.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Mr. Porter, for your expert advice. And for this walkthrough that we have had. And now I think, viewers, we are better prepared to go select the proper systems and ensure that they are properly installed for the safety of your families.
Tobago CSI chatted with the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Garfield Moore, who gave us the situation of burglaries and break-ins here in Tobago. He shared some of the experiences of the police service. Let's hear from him.
Our houses have become soft targets. We are not securing our property anymore. Now we will build nice houses, we build beautiful houses, but that house is not properly secured. We have to still have louver window. We still have windows that are not properly secured. You could just clip it open and go. The doors also, you lock on the doors. Wow. We have the deadbolt, and we also have the other bolt, the other lock that you can just take a knife and push it in and pull it down, and they're inside your houses. Right? People also still leave keys under the mat. Right? So we have become soft targets, and people are aware of that, and they are pouncing on people. So we need people to be mindful of those situations.
Over the years, we've had quite a lot of education in this regard, and you know, you're still seeing those patterns coming forward. What are they saying to you as the police? Is it any reasons why people are not changing?
It's a culture, and it's very difficult to really change culture. Even though there might be some people who will change a bit. But generally speaking, people will, even though they change for now, once that education process does not continue, you don't try to reinforce it on a daily basis, they get back into the normal mode.
The decisions you make today influence your future. You determine where you want to be. Make the right choice. Stop. Stay calm. Start thinking. A message from the Ministry of National Security's Citizen Security Program.
I'm Samantha John.
I am Nadia Batson.
The incredible Myron B.
I'm K.I. Chucky Gordon.
Hi, my name is Sheriff.
And we are Freetown.
And I'm urging each and every citizen of our beautiful country.
It's time for us to put a stop to crime and violence in Trinidad and Tobago once and for all.
In Freetown, we believe that every citizen has the right to life.
We need to be responsible, not only for ourselves, but for others as well.
I think the only way to counteract any kind of fear is to inject love.
We have the power to stand up, to unite, to stay positive, and to win back our country. Build a culture of lawfulness, peace, respect, love, harmony.
The Citizen Security Program.
Stop the violence and abuse.
Stop the violence and abuse.
Stay calm.
Stay calm. Stay calm.
Stay calm and start thinking.
Start thinking.
And start thinking.
A message from the Citizen Security Program. Stop the violence and abuse. Stay calm and start thinking.
One bite, I want to play.
Are you do that, boy. Oh, you could do that, boy.
Stop the violence and abuse. Stay calm. Start thinking. The Ministry of National Security Citizen Security Program.
Kisha, you know this girl coming here?
What's that?
I can't remember her name. But if you hear the kinds of things this girl is be saying about you.
Serious? Like what?
Girl, all kind of things.
Don't study it. We go fix that. I hear you talking about me.
You hear me talking about
huh?
you? Don't worry, y'all back up. Y'all back up here. Y'all back up.
Stop the violence and abuse. Stay calm. Start thinking.
All people talk, yes.
The Ministry of National Security Citizen Security Program.
No, I'm not ready for that.
Stop. Stay calm. Start thinking.
Okay, cool.
Later.
A message from the Ministry of National Security's Citizen Security Program.
Welcome back to Tobago CSI. We're here at the Cove Eco Industrial and Business Park at the Isaac T. McLeod building. We'll be taking a look at burglaries and break-ins and how we can better protect our homes and our families. With me is Dion Rojas of Rojas Engineering Services. He is Managing Director and owner of this establishment. Let's have a chat, Dion. Tell me, Dion, how long have you been in this business?
Well, metal fabrication, I grew up in it. So it's a lifelong experience where I grew up assisting my dad. And first and foremost, I'd like to mention that any values or any form of input I make here this morning is a representation of my dad as well. So you're getting Rojas Engineering Limited and Rojas Metal Fabricating ideas and ideologies with respect to burglaries and the way to protect your family. So growing up in it was very dynamic because at the end of the day, being educated at Bishop's High School, they basically pushed academics. Right. So having that skill to fall back on makes me a better rounded person. And it's something I definitely want to congratulate my bloodline for making me a better all-round person.
Right. So you are in the business of security?
Yes, I am. I am.
Say that?
Gates and burglar proof is one aspect of metal fabrication because it's a very wide field of trade, as it were. The universal set being metal. So you will have, say, the traditional form of fabrication, we have the gates and the rails. Then you'll have the security aspect of it, which is the burglar proofs and the burglar proof oriented sort of gates. Right. And through the years, it has developed or improved from the 80s into the 90s into now 2015, especially along the lines of the locks, where before you will have a tower bolt application where you use a traditional sort of a padlock, which is not necessarily visually pleasing, but it is functional. And coming through the years, you now have the lockbox application where you now use a single or double entry lock. And now being 2015, you also have digital locks.
Okay. All right, before we go into the details of all of the security systems that can be used, I want to get your take on why do you feel it is necessary in the Tobago society? You know, we come from a background where we never used to lock our doors
right.
and our windows. When did you start seeing this transitioning or changing in our society, and why do you feel it's necessary for us to have this level of security in what you would call the capital of paradise?
Funny you should mention that with respect to when, to pinpoint when burglar proofs and gates became fashionable, because that's the line that I'm about to travel along. Take for instance in the 80s, pipeborne water. It was good to drink pipeborne water. It was okay, it was safe. But now in 2015, it's now taboo, where people now buy almost all their drinkable water or potable water. So the gates and the rails and the burglar proof is something that it has become commonplace. By default, you build a home and you protect it. So it's not necessary, because we like to pass the parcel trying to blame the influx of Trinidadians to Tobago. But you need to understand there are also Tobagoans in Trinidad. Yeah. So I'm not here to play that blame game.
Right.
It's just something that is now by default. You build a home and you go through the necessary protective measures to protect your home and your family. Right. And that to me should be applauded, because at the end of the day, your family comes first. Not necessarily other things, because that form of protection, that level of comfort, and that is what metal does. It gives you comfort, it gives you reassurance. You would not make a bulletproof gate out of plastic. Right. It is not comforting. Yeah. The metal gives that assurance. And in 2015, where we have come a long way, we are now marrying the technology with the metal. Okay. So now, in the 80s, you will have gates just being hinged, opening in or out. Now we're having motorized gates, where you have the gate with a motorized system and a remote control, where someone coming in with, say, a vehicle can now open the gate prior to actually entering their premises, making them more safe and more secure. Yeah. So we need to understand that security is a must.